Hello, my name is Atifa and I welcome you all to yet another episode of Around the World in 7 Days. India faces a range of challenges in its neighborhood, and infiltration from neighboring countries is the most significant among these. Even in these foreign intrusions, if any country has troubled India the most, then it is India's neighboring country, China. Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives are the neighboring countries where India is facing many challenges. China is proving to be the biggest headache for India in these countries. China is investing in these countries and is trying to reduce India's presence there. But there is another country where China is posing many challenges to India, and this country is none other than India's eastern neighbor, Myanmar, where military rule continues. You must have heard a lot about the Rakhine state on the border of Myanmar. Whenever Rohingya Muslims are discussed, the province is mentioned. This is the most sensitive province of Myanmar, which always remains in headlines. Now there is a competition between China and India regarding this province. Both the countries are trying to outdo each other in terms of investment. However, now Bangladesh has also joined the race for Rakhine state. So in today's episode, we will discuss about this same. We will know why Rakhine state is important for these countries. Here we will also talk about how China is emerging as a challenge for India. But first, let's get to know the Rakhine state. Situated on the border of Myanmar, this province is located on the west coast of Myanmar. To the west of this province is the Bay of Bengal, while in the northwest it shares the border with the Chittagong division of Bangladesh. Sitwe is the capital of Rakhine state. An Indian project going on in Myanmar is related to this province, and the name of this project is Kaladan Multimodal Transport Project. In 2008 itself, an agreement was reached between the two countries on this project. Through this, Kolkata is being connected to Myanmar and then to the northeastern states of India through the Kaladan River of Myanmar. It is being called multimodal because extensive infrastructure like roads, rivers, ports, floating barrages have been built under it. Recently, India's Ports, Shipping and Waterways Minister Sarbanand Sonowal and Myanmar's Deputy Prime Minister Admiral Tin Aung San inaugurated a new Sitwe port under the Kaladan project. With the commissioning of this port, Kolkata port will be connected with Sitwe port and India will get alternate connectivity to reach landlocked northeastern states like Mizoram and Manipur. After the success of the Kaladan port project, India will not have to depend on Bangladesh for trade and business in Myanmar, and there will be direct export-import between the two countries. At present, India sends cargo, food items and food grains to Myanmar via Bangladesh. Now the question is, why is there a competition between India, China and Bangladesh? In fact, China wants to develop a transport and economic corridor between South China and the Bay of Bengal on the lines of CPEC, that is, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. The project plans to modernize the Mi Ling Yang LNG Terminal, Kyak Piu Special Economic Zone, Deep Port and Mandalay Mews Road, and thereby boost the railway line between Mews-Mandalay. The security of the port under the recently completed Kyak Piu Special Economic Zone in the Bay of Bengal, a gas pipeline and the railway line leading from this port to southern China is important to China. All these projects remain the reason for China's interest in Myanmar. Due to these projects, China has got access to the Bay of Bengal for the first time through Rakhine, and obviously it would not want to lose it. On the other hand, about 1 million Rohingyas have taken refuge in Bangladesh in the wake of violence in Rakhine state. Although the Bangladesh government is trying to send the Rohingyas back to Myanmar, it has not happened yet. Bangladesh wants this migration to stop permanently and the violence in Rakhine state on the Myanmar-Bangladesh border to stop. The reason behind this intention of Bangladesh is that it has to make many security arrangements to guard the borders, which costs a lot. In this sense, apart from China and India, Rakhine province is also being watched by Bangladesh. However, India has no competition with Bangladesh in this matter. If India faces a threat from anyone, then it is China only. There is no doubt that the Kaladan project is especially important for India, and India has got a good opportunity to set foot in Myanmar for the first time. But the way political ups and downs occur in Myanmar, many challenges surround India. India had close ties with the previous government, but the current military government is considered pro-China. This means that in this environment, India has a challenge to fulfill its strategic economic interests because Myanmar is not only China's neighbor, but the current regime there also likes China. If military cooperation between China and Myanmar increases in future, then India's difficulties will increase. Therefore, India needs to establish not only friendly relations with other countries, but also military relations. Countries like Vietnam are also keen to establish such relationships with India. However, to compete with China in Myanmar, India not only needs to increase its investment there, but also needs to work towards establishing military ties. So that's all in today's discussion. See you in the next episode. But before we leave, let's note down the practice question based on today's coverage. And the question is, what are the reasons for the competition between China and India in Myanmar's Rakhine province? Describe.